We're out here in Blue Lake with Pathmakers program for Blue Lake Rancheria, making salmon fish cooking sticks. So traditionally there's a method used to cook fresh salmon. Still today you have a lot of people cooking that way, a lot of times for celebrations or get-togethers with the steak in the ground and the salmon over the hot coals. The flavor is really good and it's really nice. You can watch like the oils dripping down onto the sand and you see all the good fats coming out of it. And it's still the best way to cook and eat salmon. For me, what I'm always looking for is old growth redwood if I can find it. Then for the knife, I use a linoleum knife. It's a hooked knife. They're perfect for this. I always make sure I have a glove. I'll keep it on my left hand because that's my offhand, the non-knife hand. Just don't want to get a redwood splinter. And then I like a canvas drop cloth on my leg because I'm dragging that stick across my leg and don't want to get slivers there. Just that extra protection is good. And then I sand it down. I use 100 and 150 grit sandpaper. Those usually do the trick. What we're doing is you're taking a redwood stick and you're shaping it to be like almost like a diamond. If you make your fingers like that, that's kind of how you want it to look. So you want it to be this shape. You want it sharp and thin. If we're on a table and there was a steak of fish right there, you'd slide it underneath the skin. So if here's the steak, you'd slide it underneath the skin and it'd hold it up. You want to have that protection because you don't want to get redwood splinters, especially in your leg. And you're kind of sliding it. You're gonna lock out your knife hand with a straight elbow, locked wrist, and you're pulling with the other opposite hand to just scrape pieces off. And you're working to make it into an oval shape. And it's a pretty simple process, just getting used to the motion of doing it is the biggest thing I'd say. And you're working to get that oval football shape. Then you sharpen out your points. You have a more of a blunt, shorter point that goes into the sand, and then a sharper point that goes into the fish. For your very first time doing this, to figure out that angle, that's really good. So you'll keep working this. I sand it and then I'll use it when you cook with it. Those fish oils will just really grease up your stick. So once you make a few and you kind of have your set, and you're good for a long time. I love it. I've just been called to it, I think, because I had so many great mentors as I was growing up and still have today that I just kind of want to pay it forward. And really started from Elmy Allen. I used to work with him at UIHS, and Ed Mata. They showed me how to do it, and I'm still learning. I'm still perfecting the craft, but I've taught a few times now and got to cook the salmon on the sticks a few times as well. I'm still a learner. As when I was younger, when I was in high school, I had opportunities to learn, but I wasn't really paying attention, and now I have kids of my own. And you know, high school kids that I work with and middle school kids I work with, I really want to teach them and kind of learn from my mistakes. Like, hey, I kind of just blew this off and ignored it, and now I really like to learn myself. So when I learn, then I want to teach people because I enjoy having that knowledge that I want to pass down to other people. Native American people are just so artistically talented as a whole. Like, they just have it and it's in their DNA. So a lot of times I'll teach something like this, and like I was teaching Nickwe, and I would imagine in a few times he's going to be better at it than me. But I think it's important just to to show that it's out there for representation and let our students know that these things are important and that there's still adults willing to teach and pass on the knowledge, and it's going to be their responsibility to pass it on later. They're place-based people, and so when they're at school, if they have an area or a place for them to be on campus that's their own and to learn their traditions and culture and different things, it's very important to have that. And so whenever we could teach anything like fish stick making or salmon cooking, it creates a greater connection to the school and the curriculum they're being taught.